reasons why people don't go to church.
I can't come to church until I get my life together.
The gathering is how I got my life together.
Church is filled with a bunch of hypocrites.
And there's always room for a couple more.
All they care about is your money.
They care about me, not my money.
Is there some kind of dress code?
Yes, wear some clothes.
Church, it just makes me nervous.
I was nervous at first, then I felt right at home.
I'm not sure. I believe everything you believe.
But you can still belong.
Church is for a bunch of wimpy, girly men.
You want to say that again?
You can come to our church even if you were or are
Catholic.
Baptist,
Jehovah's Witness.
Mormon.
A little bit of everything and a whole lot of nothing.
a felon.
I doubt it.
New to Jesus. See, it's not about a religion, it's about a relationship.
So please, come to my church.
Where no one is perfect.
Beginners are welcome.
Where socks are optional.
But grace is required.
Where forgiveness is offered.
Where it's okay to not be okay. Really.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Glad to have you guys join us this Sunday morning. I see some new faces out there, so for any of you that are new, I'm Pastor Mike, Associate Pastor. Corey and Kristen are up in Washington visiting Kristen's mom. I'll just ask you guys to keep them in your prayers because they're going through some hard stuff with their mom up there, so be praying on them for that. But I just want to welcome you guys to the gathering. We're a little different than a lot of other churches out there. We try to call ourselves the place where no perfect people are allowed. Really encourage you to just kind of come to Jesus at your own pace. We really want you to come into relationship with Jesus, but we're not going to beat you over the head with our Bibles. We're not going to tell you to get out because you've been here for 3 weeks and aren't perfectly holy yet. But we're just really glad that you guys are here. So happy that you're sharing your Sunday morning with us, and hope you'll join us. We're going to kick off some worship, and with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ernie and the worship team.
All right, amen. Well, as we enter into worship now, let us pause to be still. Let us breathe slowly. Recenter our scattered senses upon the presence of God. So I pray, Lord Jesus, you receive us into your mighty arms, Lord. Into your embrace that heals us, forgives us, and loves us. As we enter into worship, you guys are welcome to stand up with me. Enter in the Lord. You can sit and spend some time with the Lord. You can stand. You can dance. Whatever God puts on your heart, you're free to worship the way you worship.
Like me.
when we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun. We've no less days to sing your praise than when we first begun. Hallelujah, grace like rain falls down on me. And hallelujah, all my sins are washed away. And hallelujah, grace like rain falls down on me. And hallelujah, all my sins are washed away, washed away. They're washed away. They're washed away. Amen, Lord. I love you, Lord, for your mercy never failed me. In all my days, I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up till I lay my head, oh, I will sing of the goodness of God all my life. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing the goodness of God. I love your voice. You will lead me through the fire, the darkest night. You were close like no other. I've known you as a father, known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing the goodness of God. One more time. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing the goodness of God. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. Your goodness is running after me. With my life laid down, I'm surrendered now. I give you everything. Your goodness is running after me all my life. And all my life you have been faithful. And all my life you have been so, so good. With every breath that I am able, oh, I will sing the goodness of God. Oh, hello to you, hello to me, hello everybody looking to be better than you are, better than you are, better than you are right now. Listen to these words. Oh, welcome to you, welcome to me, welcome everybody looking to see further than you have, further than you have, further than you ever have. Then listen to these words, the words that Jesus said. Oh, come to me, all who are weary. Oh, come to me if you are way down. Oh, come to me, give me your burdens. Oh, won't you come? Won't you come? Come and follow me. Oh, come and follow me. Oh, come and follow me. Oh, come and follow me. There's so many things this world will offer, so many things shiny and new. Well, they may seem good and inviting, but they won't satisfy. It's not what you seek. No, they won't satisfy. It's not what you think. So listen to these words, the words that Jesus said. Oh, come to me, all who are weary. Oh, come to me if you are way down. Oh, come to me, give me your burden. Oh, won't you come? Won't you come? Come to follow me. Oh, come and follow me. Oh, come and follow me. Oh, come and follow me. Oh, come to me, all who are weary. Oh, come to me if you are way down. Oh, come to me, give me your burden. Oh, won't you come? Won't you come? And I will set you free. Oh, I child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me, and love has called my name. And I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, I'm no longer a slave to fear. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, oh, and I am surrounded by the songs of deliverance, and we've been liberated from our bondage, and we're the sons and the daughters. So let us sing our freedom. Oh, 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 you split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me and I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. One more time. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears are drowned in perfect love. You rescued me and I will stand and sing. I am a child of God. Oh, I am a child of God. Oh, I am a child of God.
Let's pray. Oh, God. Thank you so much. How amazing it is to be called a child of God. We are so grateful for your love. We are so grateful for the opportunity to come together and worship you, Lord. Above all, we are so blessed to have a God that wants relationship with us, that wants us to know his love and forgiveness. Lord, we praise you. We love you. Amen. Amen. All right, you guys can be seated. Declan, will you bring the lights up for me? Oh, man. I'll give these guys a hand. I'm so grateful for all the people that serve and help in this church. I don't know if you guys noticed, but man, Ernie's fighting through a cold, still showing up, still hammering out the songs, still sounding good. That's pretty awesome. Thank God the Spirit shows up, right? Let's see. So we'll be going to a coffee break in just a couple minutes, but I did have a few announcements I wanted to give. Everything should be on your weekly if you got a weekly coming in. If you didn't, I'll have to talk with Michael Keelig because he didn't do his job. But so coming up tomorrow, we're coming into Holy Week, the week before Easter, and at 7 p.m. here at the gathering, we're going to be having a prayer night to kick off Holy Week. It's just going to be a time of worship and prayer, no teaching or anything like that, just a time to get together and pray leading into Easter. And then we're also partnering with other churches in the area for what we call Love Does Week, and it's a chance to come together and serve the community. Just go out and spread Christ's love into this community. There's a sheet out in the foyer there that has a web address, and for those that are tech savvy enough, it's got the QR code that you can scan with your phone, take it to the address, and it'll tell you there's a different event happening every day of the week, Monday through Saturday, and you can sign up for an individual one if you can. It'd be really awesome if the gathering has a strong representation for that. Gives us, church bragging rights. We like that. Healthy God pride. And then also make sure you keep it on your radar that this Sunday is, not only is it Easter Sunday, but we've got so many people coming. It's such a blessing, but we're like splitting at the seams. So we're going to split services. We're going to have a morning service at 9 and then a little bit later service going on at 11. And if you guys can RSVP, we've got the number up there. Text 530-303-9009, or you can email us, info@tgshasta.org. Let us know which service you're planning on attending and how many people are going to be coming with you. It really helps us out as far as logistics go. And let's see, am I missing anything? Love Does. Nope, we are set. So kids, I'm sorry, there's no kids' church, but we do have some activity bags if you want to get one. If you haven't gotten one yet, go ahead and see Lacey there and that beautiful little curty. And yeah, with that, dismiss you guys for a break, and when the break's over, I'll ring a bell, let everybody know, get your butts back in here, and we got a message to share. Thanks. Okay, it's loud enough. I'm sure nobody heard the bell. Everybody's having fun. This is the double-sided sword of stopping for a break. I know. Come on back. Come on back, everybody. Give everybody a couple of minutes to trickle in here. Huh? Oh, I'm going to go stick my mic next to the speaker, get some feedback going. All right, everybody, all right. You know, it's a good problem to have that we've got a church full of people that want to talk to each other and interact with each other. That's a good problem to have. So, but I might have to start calling people out by name. Wheeler. Yeah, yep. It's good. I'm getting people's names down so I can call people out individually. But so glad you guys are here with us. Today's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be doing a mission report for the first part of this message because, let's see, so me, my mother-in-law there, Sherry walking in that beautiful curty. Lacey is out, I think, talking, another one in the curty. But we got the blessing of being able to go on a mission trip with our daughter and some of her classmates. We went over to India to work on building some classrooms for a school that's out there and then painting for another school that was out there. And so I got a shot of us. So that's the Mount Shasta crew. We all got to hang out, and you'll have to forgive me because I didn't memorize which slides I've got up, so I'm going to be staring at the screen while I talk about what's going on. But if you've never been to India before, this is my first time overseas other than being in the Navy, which I feel like doesn't count. But talk about culture shock. It was an assault on the senses. That's about the best way that I can put it. There were so many people. And the thing that really stood out to me, as soon as we got off the plane, we went to a city called Ranchi, which we all giggled about. But in Ranchi, as soon as we got off the plane, the first thing that I noticed was the honking. These people love to honk their horns. It's their national language. But before I get going too far into this, I wanted to give Scott a chance to share a little bit. And you know what? I just realized we don't have a mic up here. There we go. Ernie's on it. But, yeah. We got one mic. Ba-dun-dunch. You have done us dads proud with that joke. I love it. I love it. But, so yeah, I'll have Scott come up and just kind of share a little bit about what the trip meant for him. Ernie's getting the microphone together right now. But I'll step off so you can hide behind the. Yeah, no, we just talk. Yeah, right. So we just got back. That's cool how we set it up. There. Like, I'm gonna set this up and I can set it up. So we just got away for like 16 days in India. So first of all, prayers, financial support. Thank you, everybody. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. So real short, my real big takeaway. I was just sharing this with Ernie is that. When this was set, I was thinking, we're going to go on a mission trip. We're going to build classrooms for a school. I left my gym or my business for like almost a full month, and Katie just handled it like a boss. And yeah, seriously, because like I lined up everything perfectly so it wouldn't go wrong. So you can imagine, it did the opposite. So anyways, it was good. It was good for the marriage and everything, good for the business part. But I left thinking this was for them. I'm like, this is a cool thing, right? Like I'm gonna raise money to go to India, go with my friends. We're gonna serve, and then I quickly realized about day 5 into it, this was not for them, it was for me. I realized that my faith is super weak.
I was challenged in areas and just kind of filled with different challenges, and I was like, oh man, this is uncomfortable. And I saw genuine gratefulness from them, from all the way up, like the principals and the presidents of the school, thanking us, but thanking our leaders. I mean, just grown men in tears, how grateful they were that we were there building classrooms, painting for their schools, or just playing soccer with the kids. And so that was cool. It wasn't all premeditated, like, hey, I'm gonna get in front of everybody and I'm just gonna say thank you and go through the list. It was like true gratitude. And so I broke this trip all the way down. So the first one was, I realized getting out of my reality was so awesome. Like just stopping, pushing hold was awesome. The other part was getting to spend 16 days with my son. Waking up really early, like I'd wake him up at 5 in the morning. We'd be have breakfast at 5:50 on the bus at 7, and then it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours, depending on traffic, getting to where we were at, a place called Pola. And we were just bricklaying, right, all day long. And so Maddox and Kara were the youngest in this entire group. And then the oldest crew in the group was Roy and Ellen from New Zealand. So my pitch on that is that it's never too soon and it's never too late to go on this, right? And that was cool. Like that was just, and there was like, again, hour and a half, 2 hours to the place and back. So we're sitting on a bus, just hanging out with each other, talking about stuff that we would probably never talk about. The other part was like the serving, right? And then the other part was coming back here just with different eyes, right? So the biggest takeaway, maybe two takeaways, is all of us, we have a toilet to sit on that more likely has toilet paper there, right? And we wake up and we more likely have running water, okay, to brush our teeth in, to shower in. Oops, the water hit my mouth, no big deal. There, total big deal. Washing our clothes. Like we could probably even go down to the stream, right? Go down to Mount Shasta City Park, scoop some water and start drinking it, be cool. You can't do that there. But they wash their clothes, they take their baths, they drink their water, all in the same source down there. So anyways, there was those little things that I was like, I don't really need anything. That was my big takeaway. So, coming back, it was awesome. This is my public thing I'm telling Mike. Dude, it was so rad hanging out with you. So rad. Like, we served, not in the same ship, but we were out and about like we were sailors, just exploring the town. We were advised not to. But it was cool. We're like, we should probably do that. We told people where we were going, but we got a haircut. We took a little tuk-tuk ride. Mike negotiated, tried to get ourselves. We realized that we're getting charged like 150, 200 per ride. Locals are getting charged 20 rupees per ride. So we're like, okay. And then it's like, remember the movie Twins? Yeah. Right, on social media? That's us, downtown raunchy, right? So anyways, just big takeaway, you guys. Thanks again for all you guys' support. If you guys ever get an opportunity, next year in June, we're thinking about this Kenya trip. I would say do it, come with us, hang out with us. If you're getting stuck and you just feel like your system needs broken, the way you think about things need to be broken, and maybe a little humility, go on a trip. Go wherever there's need, right, and just do it. Because you realize our problems aren't really that big of a deal. So, cool? All right.
So yeah, like Scott said, just a powerful trip, and it fits so well into our sermon series that we've been doing, Transformed, because the transformation that happened on this trip was, I can't even put it into words how it went. If you've been here for previous messages in the series, you've heard Corey talk about how the things you do something to you. And it's there's such a truth in that. And one of the things we've been going over is leaning into the spiritual practices, and we've got this little handout here, right? Hopefully everybody's gotten one, and it's got our 5 that we focused on here. But see, that's not a comprehensive, exhaustive list of spiritual practices. And one of the ones that we debated on having on there or not that ended up on the cutting room floor just to make something that would fit on this little card and not overwhelm everybody with so many things to do was acts of service. And that has done so much for me personally compared to, I love my prayer time, I love my silent time, reading the Bible. Sometimes it's, hey, I'm getting through my chapter. Sometimes it's like, wow, God, I can't believe what you just showed me as I read that. But going over and serving and stepping out of the comfort zone and serving in faith has been the most powerful tool for transformation in my life personally. And so like Scott said, if you ever have the chance, jump on it. I just encourage you, jump on it, because we were over there. None of us had any idea what we were doing. We had no clue. But we were equipped over there. And just what came from it was awesome. So work through the slides here, give you an idea of what we were actually doing. Like I said, showing up, an assault on the senses. That was the average street in the city that we were in. I mean, when we got onto the bus that was taking us from the airport to our hotel, Kara's teacher, she was kind of our group lead. She was sitting in the front, and at least 4 times as we were driving, she was, whoa, 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 because it looked like we were going to get into a head-on collision. These people, they are the world champions at playing chicken. They do not flinch. They're coming head-on at each other. They might honk a horn or flash headlights, and then with, I'm not exaggerating at all, an inch or 2 to spare, they swerve. And I don't know how they know which one's going to swerve and which one's not, but I never saw an accident. Lacey said she saw 2 the whole time we were there. I expected to see dozens my first day there because of how they drive. I like to drive. I can be an aggressive driver, but this scared me, being on these roads. When you heard Scott talking about a tuk-tuk, that's a tuk-tuk. It's these little 3-wheeled things. They've got like a motorcycle engine in it. Believe it or not, according to the locals there, that tuk-tuk holds 30 people. It is insane the number of people that they will cram into it. Personal space does not exist in India. That is another thing I learned. Do not expect personal space. When we went for our ride, we got really lucky on the way out there, we got one all to ourselves, but when we were coming back, there were already, including the driver, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people, and then they squeezed me, Scott, and Maddox in there also. He put me in the front seat, which I'm not kidding you, that front seat is this wide, and there's already a driver and another person, and he just wouldn't let me go anywhere else. I squeezed in, but I still had my knee hanging out. And if any of you want to see, I took videos of driving. I didn't want to take too much time, but scary, very scary. Our whole theme of the trip that they gave us was faith over fear. Getting in one of these and going down the road is faith over fear. It is faith over fear. So this is a typical scene driving out to our job site. And I've got to admit that the first drive out, about halfway out, because we had about an hour and a half, like Scott said, to drive out to the job site, I broke down crying because I realized how much I have taken for granted the absolute abundance of blessings that I have in my life, just simply existing here. We are so blessed. And the pictures, the videos, us talking, is such a pale comparison to actually seeing it in real life. Because, I went on the deep dive down the rabbit hole, looking into India, looking into what we were going to, seeing pictures just like this. None of it prepared me for the reality of actually seeing the way these people lived. But what was really amazing and powerful was that these people living in what we would call absolute squalor, I saw more joy and gratitude there than I do here. And that's not to shame anybody or to point the finger. I'm right in that camp. It was amazing and very eye-opening to see the joy and the smiles and the love and just all of that, and know how we can be here and how we can get so caught up in being in the rat race and chasing after the next thing and keeping up with the Joneses and trying to figure out the next thing I can post on social media to make people jealous of my life. You know, you hear people talk about the 1% and all that stuff. We are the 0.1%, just living here. 70% of the world lives in poverty like this. You know, so, and if you don't think you have something to offer these people, you do. Another, I mean, this was right across the street from where we were working. That's a literal mud hut. That is just local mud packed together. They don't, you know, bake it into bricks or anything. They just pack it together. You can actually see where the water's kind of worn it away. And that roof there's bamboo laid over there, and that was found plastic that they just find, because I'll tell you what, litter, oh my goodness, there is so much trash everywhere. It's just not part of the culture to pick up trash there. But that roof is just laid over the bamboo and held down with those rocks. There's no fasteners. When the wind's blowing, you see that stuff flapping around. Yeah, and a family lived in that. A whole family lived in that. This is where I didn't work there much myself. This was the other job site in a place called Kunti. That was a much bigger school, had been there a lot longer. Lacey and Sherry and Kara all worked there a lot more than I did. I went one day just because I wanted to see it. But once you start working on a project, you kind of got invested in doing that project. You really wanted to see the progress happen. You know, most of us when we showed up, we're like, oh, I'll do a little bit here, a little bit there, but not very many people actually swapped that much because you really got invested in seeing that job to completion. There's painting. So they were painting the boys' dorm. It was really run down. I didn't get a whole lot of pictures on mine because, like I said, I was only there for one day. But it was awesome seeing the teens jump in, actually working and getting this done. And what an improvement just painting and getting that place spruced up was. And the kids were so appreciative. They would come in, and people love taking selfies over there. They love getting pictures, especially when you're a giant with a red beard or blonde-haired, blue-eyed ladies. Oh my goodness. We went to a mall one day, and there were strangers would come up and tap Kara or Lacey and, excuse me, selfie? You have no idea who they were, but they wanted to take pictures. It was our slight taste of fame over there. But go ahead, next slide. So this was what we showed up to at the Pola job site. They had the first course of bricks laid. They had that steel framework. That's just tarps they laid over to keep the sun off of us. And we had some bricks staged. But just outside, I don't know if you can make it out, on the right there is a black gate. All the bricks got delivered outside of that gate and then had to come inside, which was all by manpower. And I think the next slide is a shot. Okay, no, that's a little later. So the school we showed up in, they've been working on this school. They've been doing projects there for the past about 4 years. When they started working on it, this was their kitchen. That's what they used to provide food for about 150 kids at this school. And now by the time we showed up, they'd improved it. Go ahead, next slide. They'd built them a kitchen, so they've got a nice commercial kitchen. Now they're up to 300 kids. There's about 200 that stay there the whole time, and then there's about another 100 kids that come in from the surrounding area just for school. All the kids have to do their own laundry. No dryers, no nothing. They hang them up, and in fact, outside that wall, you'd see every once in a while there'd just be clothes laying on bushes and stuff to dry them out there. Those trunks, that's what they keep their stuff in. Next slide. And this is how the kids, this is the boys' dorm. The girls' dorm is exactly the same. Just rows of bunk beds, and then each kid has a trunk that everything they have goes in the trunk. The kids are responsible for the school doesn't provide anything other than the place to stay, the bunk beds, and I don't think you can see it, but there's no pads on those beds. Those bunk beds, you can just make it out. I'll walk over. So if you look right here, that's plywood. That's just a sheet of plywood that they have, and that's what they have to sleep on. Everything else is what is either the kids managed to bring from their families or people have provided to them. You know, the kids that were well off in there had a couple of blankets to fold up to sleep on in addition to a blanket to cover themselves while they were sleeping. Like I said, happy. All the kids were required to do their own dishes. Each kid had their own metal dish, one dish, and they had to wash it themselves. This is them dunking it in a bucket of water and then scrubbing it out and dumping it. But that was, every kid had to take care of their own dishes. Every kid was responsible for doing as much as they could to take care of themselves at this site. Next slide. Like I said, you can fit 30 people in one of those tuk-tuks. That was basically the school bus that brought kids to school. This wasn't full yet. There were more kids coming that were going to be added into that. But one of the things I love is they love to decorate their vehicles like that. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, they pack you into those things. They've got no problem with it. There we go. This is how we got bricks from inside the gate to the job site. And we'd go as far as the line could make it. And then sometimes, okay, we made it right there. Well, those bricks actually need to go all the way to the other side of the building. So we'd make a stack there, and then we'd reset the line and keep going and make another stack on the other side of the building. I don't know, what do you think, Scott? About 7,000, 10,000 bricks we moved? Wow. We moved a lot of bricks. 15 minutes, we moved like 900 at once. Yeah. So, and this was pretty much how far we got at the end of 9 days of working there. Almost got up to the roof. We got one half of the roof installed. Over there, they don't do glass. It just gets broken way too easily. Kids roughhousing, playing around, kicking soccer balls. So they put up that barred window, and then they bolt plexiglass to it. These were our local helpers that would come along behind us and kind of direct us when we weren't laying brick quite right, or also, the guy on the left, he was my buddy. He kept bringing mortar to me. Learned how to, you'd run out of mortar and you'd yell, "Masala!" And some guy would come over with a thing of mortar on his head and dump it for you. For days afterwards in my dreams, I was yelling masala. Okay, and then this was at the end. This is a ceremony they gave us. This was a traditional dance the girls did. And this was their worship hall / cafeteria. Almost tear up just watching it. Lacey, you crying? No? Okay. All right. This song was stuck in my head the whole trip. Being around those kids was the most amazing part of the whole trip. Just the innocence and the joy and gratitude and love that exuded from them it made all the travel. I mean, flying 14 and a half hours on a plane is not fun when you're 6'2". It made it all worth it. It was all so amazing. And during that ceremony, they gave us all traditional handmade shawls that they had, scarves that they had made. I'm not sure what they actually, if they represented anything, but it was really awesome. Just, these guys got nothing. I mean, they basically have nothing, but they wanted so badly to show their gratitude that they still managed to get these and give them to all of us as a show of their appreciation. This was one of my favorite parts. I don't know if caught it. Might have to play that again. I think I said good afternoon. play it one more time, and I'll be quiet. Maybe. So every kid there would seek you out and shake your hand, make eye contact, and say, "Good morning, sir. Good afternoon, sir." And hearing them all say it was just like, we're going to try and get all the kids and everybody in here to do the same thing. It became a thing in our group. Anytime somebody would get up to talk and they'd say good morning, and our whole group would, "Good morning, ma'am," and it was just fun, just a lot of fun. So after we did the mission work, we got the chance to add on a couple of excursions. We got to go to the Taj Mahal, which it was amazing, but I don't think I'd ever go again, if I'm honest. Scott, yeah? Because 40,000 people is what they cap a day. So that's the limit they put on people coming in there. But, you know, it's amazing. For those that weren't aware, a lot of us didn't know, that's not a palace, it's a tomb. It was a tomb that the Shah or whatever, the Muslim emperor, built in honor of his favorite wife, because, you know, he had like 4 or 5 of them. And she was his favorite wife because she gave him 14 kids. And then when she was on her deathbed after the last kid, she made him promise if he loved her, he'd build something, and he spent every last golden penny that he had building that place. Ended up going bankrupt and getting deposed by his second son, who killed his first son and locked him up for the last 8 years of his life, which the tour guide that was guiding us said the moral of that story is, don't fall in love. Go ahead and go back real quick. So if you see all around that thing's like 120 foot tall. Every bit of color you see, because that was built out of white marble, every bit of color you see in there is not painted on. It is inlaid semi-precious stones. They actually carved the marble, which marble is one of the hardest stones we've got, and then inlaid all these precious stones. And that script on the outside is all Arabic verses about the glory of God around it. But like I said, pictures do not do it justice. We got to go inside. We got to see, they weren't the real tombs, because once the king died, they entombed him alongside his bride in there. But the real ones, I guess, are down in the basement, but they've got some fake ones. You're not allowed to take pictures inside. Some of us may have taken a couple pictures. But inside is twice as intricate as outside. Just the amount of time and money and effort that went into this thing. Thousands of workers. I think the guy said the equivalent of $14 billion was spent to build this place. And once you go in and see it, it's amazing. I would recommend, if anybody gets a chance, man, go see it, but you probably won't want to go afterwards, just because the crush of people and the hard sellers. There's street vendors out there that I'll talk about a little later. And then we got the chance to go on a safari. I took that picture. It still blows my mind that we got to see tigers, right outside our vehicle. The next one will show you how close the tiger was. And if you'll notice, those Jeeps don't have tops or anything. That was a little intimidating, being in these things and realizing that tiger could just decide to jump inside with us anytime he wanted to. And I looked, and none of the guides, drivers, or anybody else had a gun. They just trusted. Faith over fear. I said that to myself a few times. Faith over fear. We got really lucky. We went on 3 safaris. They each were about a 3-hour long deal. The very first day, we got to see a tiger walking down the road. We got right up behind it. Got to watch it spray trees, marking its territory. It was kind of crazy. The guides were telling us that you got about a 20% chance of seeing a tiger when you go there. Everybody wants to see a tiger. You'd see people, you can just make it out up in there. There were like $8,000-$10,000 camera rigs people are bringing, because a lot of times you see a tiger and it's on a ridge all the way across, 600-700 yards away, and people are using these crazy telephoto zoom lens to get a shot of it. And then here's the tiger walking so close they can't take a picture with their fancy camera because it's too close. So, and then we got a second one the next day. Okay. I gotta say, Scott did not know that these snakes were defanged. So talk about some faith over fear when you think this thing can reach out and hit you. I do like how he kind of leans away a little. Well, I'm good. So, that was a lot of fun. So this was on our trip. We got to go to another palace. I actually liked this palace a little bit more. The next shot will show it in, yeah. So that's called the Amber Palace or the Amber Palace. And what was really cool about that is we got to go in there and we basically had free reign of the whole palace. And there was like cool little passageways going all over the place. They had actual real Turkish baths that had heated water where they'd have a tank of water and the water would flow over this fire to warm it up to let people soak. And that was really cool. That's the entrance. So that is painted. That's not inlaid, but that's like fresco, I guess, where they paint on the plaster when it's still wet. So the paint kind of absorbs in, doesn't fade. This was built in, I want to say the 1600s it was built. Not quite as many people there, still quite a few people. Let's see, go ahead and hit the next slide. So this was how we got up to that palace because our bus couldn't drive all the way up. So we got up there and back in these. And the main reason I wanted to show these is the next slide. Like I said, the street vendors, you have never experienced a hard sell if you've only bought things here in the U.S. They were some of the most aggressive salesmen I've ever experienced in my life. They would surround you if they caught the slightest hint of weakness. Like if you made eye contact with them, they were relentless. They kept sticking their stuff in your face. They're all about bargaining. They'd start off, our guides would tell us, don't even look at them, don't acknowledge them, and it's so hard. It just feels so rude, right? You know, you're used to our culture, but it's a survival tactic over there because they assault you. I mean, they're sticking stuff in your face. This guy hung on the back of that Jeep for 1.5 miles until someone bought something from him. I really thought the lady in there, she was our leader, and I'll never forget, she talked about how, you know, she's from Atlanta, and she says, most of you all know Mission Loretta. You don't want to meet Atlanta Loretta. And I thought we were going to see Atlanta Loretta pop up and kick him off the back, because I swear I saw her foot come up a couple times. But yeah, it's part of the experience, if I'm honest. You know, I'm kind of glad I got to experience it and know that I don't want to deal with it again. But it was pretty funny watching them try and sell something for 2,000 rupees, and you'd get further down, okay, 1,500 rupees, and you'd keep going, okay, 1,000 rupees. And then once you got into your little transport golf cart thingy that was going to take you to the bus, all of a sudden, 900, 500, 400, 50 rupees. I mean, it just, I felt really bad for the people that bought something when it was 2,000 to hear, wait a minute, you would have sold that for 50? And like Scott said, negotiating for a ride, you just, hey, how much to go here? We can't speak the language, so we're bringing up on the map. We want to go here. And, 200 rupees. Nah, 100 rupees. 180 rupees. Nah, 100 rupees. The first guy drove off, and we got a ride for 100 rupees one time, 150 rupees the next time. But that second ride, I couldn't help but notice that the lady that was on and hopped off, she got about as long of a ride as we did, maybe longer, because she was already on the tuk-tuk before we got on. And she handed him a 100 rupee bill, and he gave her 70 rupees back. He was trying to hide it from me. I'm going, we just paid 5 times as much for that. Then you realize it's about $5, so it doesn't feel too bad. But I think that pretty much wraps it up. Was that the last slide? There we are. All right, so that was our India trip. I added them up. I took 1,200 pictures and videos while we were there, so if you guys want to see more, I've got an 8-hour slideshow I can give you. But you know, it's more pictures than I've ever taken in my entire life of anything. I'm sorry to my kids. Yes, I took more pictures of India than I've taken of my own children. It was so foreign, though, and it was so life-changing that I wanted to document as much of it as I could so that I could reflect on it and be reminded of it pretty continually. But yeah, I just want to encourage you guys. We didn't lean into it as one of our spiritual practices during this Lent season that we were encouraging everybody to do, but the spiritual practice of service and service in faith, it does something to you. God uses it to change you. Like Scott said, this trip was less about helping them and more about changing our lives that went. I've heard complaints and people talk about, well, can't you get more done if you just send your money over there? I mean, we had to pay like $1,200 just for a plane ticket over there. But that leaves out a complete side of the equation, which is what it does to the person serving, because God uses it. God uses it in a powerful, powerful way. But, okay, so into the actual message of the day. And you keep hearing me talking about spiritual practices. If you've been here for any amount of time, we talk about being an apprentice to Jesus, right? If you're old church, right, you hear the term disciple. That's the Christianese word for being an apprentice to Jesus. And being an apprentice, we've got it on our wall. We talk about, it means mainly these three things. You want to be with Jesus, you want to study Jesus, and then you want to become like Jesus. You want to be like Jesus in your life. Live your life the way Jesus would live your life. And we all come under an authority in our lives. Some of us actually choose the authority we're under, but a lot of us just end up under authority, not by choice, but just, kind of getting moved around by the wind and the waves of this world. We end up under an authority. And if you don't make a conscientious choice of whose authority you're going to fall under, somebody will be put into authority over you. And if you're here, hopefully that means that you're at least thinking about giving Jesus that authority over your life. Hopefully everybody's already given there, but I'm a realist. We're a place for seekers. It's okay if you haven't made that move yet. Me and Corey are doing our best to convince you it's worthwhile. It really is worthwhile. But we all come under an authority. And if you have given Christ authority over your life, the main thing he wants from you is relationship. That's the main point of this whole journey. And his relationship with you will look different than his relationship with me. It'll look different than his relationship with your spouse or your kids. And that's perfectly okay. We try to worry a lot less about God's relationship with others. We want people to be in relationship, but then we let God have control. A lot of us get a little caught up in, well, that relationship looks different than mine, and I don't know if it comes from a place of fear, a place of insecurity, a place of control, but we want to make people's walk with Christ look like our walk with Christ often. That's not the way it's meant to be. We are definitely called to share our walk with Christ. Let everybody know how amazing it is to be in relationship, but then let people come into their own relationship. Encourage it, uplift it, but don't try to control it. Because when we start trying to control things that God should be in control of, I've never seen that work out well. Never seen it work out well. And believe me, I've tried to control a lot of things in my life. It just goes sideways so quick. But. Okay, so let's read some scripture. We've been going through Colossians during this season. This is our last message in the series and then we're going to jump into Easter. Then we've got a whole other series planned, the spiritual practice of eating and drinking. I like that one. I love to eat. If any of you guys are wondering how can eating or drinking be a spiritual practice, just think about how much knowledge Jesus shared over a meal with his disciples or others. And then you can't forget communion, right? We do a little bit of eating and drinking, but when you think about the Last Supper, that was a feast, right? The Passover feast. But so for the scripture, I'm going to be reading the last bit of Colossians chapter 3, if you want to follow along. And Paul writes, "Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourselves with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other and forgive one another if any of you has a grievance against someone. Forgive as the Lord forgave you. And over all of these virtues, put on love, which binds them all together in perfect unity. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, since as members of one body you were called to peace, and be thankful. Let the message of Christ dwell among you richly as you teach and admonish one another with all wisdom through psalms, hymns, and songs from the Spirit, singing to God with gratitude in your hearts. And whatever you do, whether in word or deed, do it all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God the Father through him. And see, here we see Paul continuing with the imagery of clothing yourself, right? Clothing yourselves properly. If you heard last week, you heard Corey talking about the fact that you wouldn't put on all of your ski gear, the big parka, your thermals, your ski pants, to go run down to Shasta Lake in the middle of 100-degree plus Reading weather and play at the lake. And in the same way, you won't go into this world as a Christian clothed in what you used to wear in this world. We remove our old clothes, the clothes that we wore to operate like every other sinner in this world, and we put on a new uniform. We put on the clothing of God's holy priests. And I know that a lot of us do not feel like holy priests. I'll be honest, I'm up here, and I don't feel like a holy priest. But in 1 Peter 2:5, Peter reminds us that, and you are living stones that God is building into his spiritual temple. And what's more, you are his holy priests. If you've accepted Christ as your authority, you've accepted the role of holy priest. You've been given that role. And now we're not high priests. There's only one high priest in God's kingdom. But we are all called to be holy priests. And many of you, myself included, are probably thinking, there's no way I'm holy enough to be one of God's priests. And you're right. You're right. None of us are. But that's where this clothing analogy really works. Because we are not holy in ourselves, but we are clothed in Jesus' holiness. Our imperfections are covered by his perfection. Now, how many of you guys have seen those cheesy long t-shirts that you can get that makes it look like you've got that perfect California beach bod? Right? I swear I see one of those every time I go to some tourist beach. Right? That's kind of how this works. The clothing gives an image of something that isn't necessarily there underneath. Right? And we see this work out in our daily lives, or maybe not daily, but like, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong, but I have been told that the proper uniform can have this effect on a man. You put a uniform on a guy, and he goes up a couple of numbers on that 1 to 10 scale, right? I'm pretty sure that's why Lacey stole a picture of me in my Navy uniform before we were ever together. It works. Guys, there's a tip for you. Single guys, get a uniform, get some headshots, get some shots. It bumps your numbers up. It's good. But the thing is, see, the outfit that we put on when we begin to follow Jesus, it doesn't just cover our imperfections. It actually starts to work on our imperfections. Instead of just making us look the part, it starts transforming us into the part. And believe me, this is not an instantaneous transformation. This is a work of a lifetime. there is a change that God makes in you when you clothe yourself in Him and in His Spirit and His righteousness. And we don't wait until we are holy enough to put on the uniform. We are made holy enough by putting on the uniform. Imagine wearing that beach bod shirt for a season or two and then taking off and realizing, I've actually got six-pack abs. There will be moments as a Christian where you will look back and notice, wait a minute, I'm different. I didn't react the way that I would have reacted before Jesus got a hold of me. I didn't say those things that I used to say to the guy that cut me off in traffic. I don't talk to my wife the way that I used to talk to her when she didn't make me happy enough. I didn't yell at my husband the way that I'd yell at him when he doesn't put the seat down. Okay, you probably still do. Work to be done. But see, when we put on compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, patience, and when we intentionally operate in this world with those things between us and the world, we are changed. God changes us. God transforms us. And operating in humility, or patience, gentleness, and love, that is like pouring fertilizer on the tree that bears the fruit of the Spirit. What used to be, right, little crabapple things you didn't want to eat, they were bitter and sour, transformed into a bounty of goodness, gentleness, patience, peace, faithfulness. And last for a reason on that, because it's usually one of the last things we get, self-control. So as we go into this week of Easter, I want to encourage everybody, put on the uniform of a holy priest, even though you don't feel like you're holy enough. Try it out for a while. Even those of you that are here just kind of window shopping this whole Jesus thing. If you don't think it fits, you can take it off. But try it out for a while. Like Jesus said to his disciples, come and see. Just give them a chance. Jesus doesn't do anything without our permission. And he gives us the freedom to take that permission away if we want to. So don't be scared. If somehow I'm stuck if I decide I don't want to, but there should be like a little excitement building in some of you. Maybe, just maybe, I'll try it out. I'll put that uniform on at home. I'm not going to let anybody see me in it, but I might try it on for a little while. I want to encourage that. Worship team, will you guys come up? So as the worship team gets ready to play, during this first song, we practice open communion here at the gathering. You don't need our permission to take communion. You just need to have that relationship with Christ. And we do this because he told us to do this in remembrance of him, in remembrance of the sacrifices, the sacrifice that he made for us on that cross. I want to encourage you, just take a moment and reflect on all that God has done for you and all that he promises to continue to do for you. Let us pray. God, thank you for working on me. Thank you for the dual fact that you accept me where I am, but you love me so much you won't let me stay there. That you continue to transform me, to transform my life, to transform how I see you. God, I pray for a deeper understanding of you, a deeper knowledge of your love and your mercy, to be confident, even though I don't deserve it, you forgive me, that it's okay, that you really want nothing more than to be with me. Lord, fill this place with your Spirit. Fill us with your love, God. Guide us in your mercy to each other. Lord, I pray these things in your Son's holy name. Amen.
Here's where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. Every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. Here's where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. To do whatever you want to, do whatever you want to, and I will make room for you. To do whatever you want to, do whatever you want to. Here is where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down, every lie and every doubt. This is my surrender. And I will make room for you. Do whatever you want to, do whatever you want to. I will make room for you. To do whatever you want to, do whatever you want to. And I will make room for you. To do whatever you want to, do whatever you want to, and I will make room for you. To do whatever you want to, do whatever you want to. Shake up the ground of all my traditions, break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better, your way is better. Shake up the ground of all my traditions, break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better, your way is better. Shake up the ground of all my traditions, break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better, your way is better. Shake up the ground of all my traditions, break down the walls of all my religion. Your way is better, your way is better. And I will make whatever you want to. Do whatever you want to.
Next song, we got our prayer team up here. I'll be in the back also. If anybody wants a little bit of prayer for anything, or if you want a lot of prayer for anything, come see one of us. We'd love to have the chance to pray with you. And otherwise, enjoy this next song. Enjoy your week. And invite somebody to church for Easter. Invite somebody to church. Like 80% of people come to church because somebody invited them. And Easter and Christmas are the most likely days that someone will accept the invitation. So I'll put that out there. But God bless you all. I hope you have an amazing, amazing, blessed week. I hope to see you guys out there in your Holy Priest uniforms. It is. Oh, which service is filling up? You know, I'm not sure actually. I haven't looked at that. But yeah, that is a good question. We'll send something out on text in church if you guys are in there. If not, there's a good plug. Fill out a connection card if you haven't filled one out and you want to know. That's what we use to communicate with you. We'll send a text out and let you guys know what's going on. So, thank you.
When all I see is a battle, you see my victory. When all I see is a mountain, you see the mountain move. And as I walk through the shadows, your love surrounds me. There's nothing to fear now, for I'm safe with you. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. In every fear I lay at your feet. I sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. And if you are for me, who can be against me? For Jesus, there's nothing impossible for you. When all I see are the ashes, God, you see the beauty. When all I see is the cross, you see the empty tomb. So when I fight, I'll fight on my knees with my hands lifted high. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. In every fear I lay at your feet. I sing through the night. Oh God, the battle belongs to you. An almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. An almighty fortress, you go before us. Nothing can stand against the power of our God. You shine in the shadows, you win every battle. Nothing can stand against continue with prayer up here if anybody wants to come up for prayer. We'll keep the lights at halfway back there and put on some Spotify, Sarah, for everyone. But you guys have a great day and come on up for prayer if you feel compelled to.
Why would I worry when giants come calling my name?